So I would like to introduce you to Orty38. It's an immediate look and then holy crap, this record, yeah. 1700 battles is what it was, so it's pretty new. Well, he has a bunch of arcade, but relatively new. But 1700 to 300, 900 to 200, 800 to 200, 500 to 100. It just goes down in the list. I mean, yeah, it doesn't take a genius to look at a record like that and go, well, you're not a very new account, or you're a pretty new account, and you're completely blatantly obvious. Now, I had another friend of mine look at me with this, and he was like, well, he's not cheating with that Christian, but then that shot right there was like, well, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And then this shot right here where he's looking straight at a guy that he literally can't see, who's 2 grid squares away and, you know, almost a kilometer and a half away. So, yeah, it's just a... Yeah, cool. It's the guy that's blatantly obvious. He spent $300 in the game already, and he's extremely obvious. But no, we're not going to ban him because, you know, we take forever when it comes to any sort of security measures in our game. I also mentioned that Gaijin is potentially adding a new security feature to the game called Viking. I still can't find any data on it. I've asked a couple people around that might know what it is. They have no idea. As far as I know, it's based on only like other people talking about it, some other people talking about it. It's supposed to take a screenshot of potentially every shot you take in the game and correlate it along with a replay report. So say if somebody reports you or you report somebody, it would take those screenshots along with the report so that a person on security wouldn't have to look through an entire replay. They could look at just individual shots, which, if implemented correctly, would show stuff like, you know, not granted like this, so it's pretty easy to see, but the shot we saw earlier where he literally couldn't see the target at all and would correlate the thing. And it would probably be able to be, you know, quality lowered so he could see any sort of situation. The problem is, it still doesn't fix the problem of cheaters that play subtly with software that generally don't look through trees like a lot of the blatant guys do. It's a start, but we still don't need EAC. And I know people don't want invasive EAC or anti-cheats like what Helldivers has, for instance, which I think is the Genguard, I think is what they use. Yeah, the problem with it is that the only service that I know of that is decent is something like AnyBrain, which could learn from a game like this, which would be great. The problem is Gaijin would probably have to improve the quality of replays in general to make it work correctly, because right now we still have it to where stabilizers don't work at all, and they're super stuttery, and they are just not good at all. I don't think EAC, I mean, EAC a lot of people are hesitant about, but EAC is pretty non-invasive. It is still technically a keystroker, or invasive in general, but what anti-cheat isn't. People are always worried about security with their computers. Okay, well then run the game on a separate client if you don't, or run on a separate computer. I know a guy named Thor, he is a Pirate Software. He runs games that have high invasive security things on a separate computer, and then he feeds it to his main computer. If you want to do that, sure. I know not everyone has the funding for that, so it's not really that feasible. But it's, you have to, the only way to get good game security is to have something that's fairly invasive. Yeah, and the problem is we all know Gaijin's super cheap with the way they've done any sort of, you know, security with this game, or anything in general. Yeah, see, people already calling him a cheater. But no, you know, even like that. Granted, people call people cheating in the chat. Now, granted, people do that when they're angry at whoever. I've seen tons of comments of people like, "Oh, he's cheating," or whatever. But like, if you get a whole bunch of reports on a player in game, that should be grounds for an immediate investigation. Not a single person reporting a person over and over, but if I report a player in game or report a player from the replay and a bunch of people report it, that should be immediate grounds for, hey, we're going to investigate this player. But unfortunately, you know, Gaijin still, I feel like, has very few people that are working on game security. And I don't think they'll ever improve it unless they offer some sort of incentive for either CCs or volunteers to join and get some sort of incentive out of it. But until they do that, which I've suggested multiple times in the forums still, and I still get nothing, or I still get, oh, you just use the in-game reporting system. Yeah, that doesn't work. Or, like with the way Gaijin does it, is, granted, like most companies do now, is they ban based in waves. The problem is they're not changing anything. So the whole point of game security, if you ban in waves, is if you're changing something about the game that would make it harder for a cheater to cheat going forward. But Gaijin doesn't do that. They just ban in chunks and don't change the way the game works. It's just the same system over and over. And also the guy in chat claiming report and block so he can't find a game. That doesn't work that way. Blocking doesn't do that. Blocking only blocks them from communicating with you. If it did otherwise, then people would just block people would block CCs, and then they wouldn't be able to play at all because they want to be trolly. So good luck with that whole theory. But yeah, I'm just gonna once again leave it here because I really want Gaijin to give any sort of care to this game. But anytime I inquire about it, they're like, "Well, just use the functioning. We don't care. We don't listen to any feedback. We just do our own thing." Yeah, we're seeing how that's working. We have so many CCs I've seen in the last year or so just drop because this game has so little going for it nowadays. So, as always, I hope you have the rest of your morning, day, evening, or night, and have a good one.